and that's how envy will be dissolved. And also, we can replace envy with service attitude, like in the Bhagavatam 5th canto, 18th chapter, because the Supreme Lord is very pleased when we are very friendly to all the living beings. Then we are free from envy, and instead of wanting what others have, we must serve them and assist them in their devotion, Prabhuji.
Okay, okay, good points. Serve, assist, fine. Some other points? How to get rid of envy? Hmm. Hmm.
Whatever you do is like putting ghee in ashes.
Hmm.
Whatever you do is imitation worship. Whatever you do will never please me.
Correct.
And whatever you do you will never be peaceful. 4 verses, one after the other. In great
Correct.
anger he speaks towards a person who is envious of others, other living entities. What to
Correct.
speak of devotees?
Correct.
So there he doesn't speak. He just gives an solution. He says 3 things. This is dana, mana, maitri. These are the words used by him.
Correct.
So as Mataji, and dana is giving gifts, charity. Mana is offering respects. And maitri is being friendly with everyone. So this is the solution given by Kapil Muni.
Okay, good. Okay, fine.
Prabhu, there is a complete loss situation when we are angry with someone, even if they scold us. If we simply keep quiet, actually they are taking away our karma, so we have to catch their feet. And if a teacher is scolding us, then he's cutting away our false ego. There also we have to touch their feet. So in no case it becomes a loss for us.
Good.
Prabhuji, also I feel that envy will burn the heart, but when we do bhakti or devotional service, it will cool it and it will awaken the love for the Supreme Lord.
Right. Okay, fine.
This envy is because of we are envious of Supreme Lord.
Correct.
And if you get rid of envy, you will go back to Godhead.
Correct.
That is a root cause. So it can't go so easily.
Correct.
It will go by the Mahat Kripa.
Correct.
And when you realize that actually I am insignificant, Krishna is the Supreme. And this person is having this opulence because of Krishna.
Correct.
So why should I unnecessary envy him?
Correct.
Understand?
Yes, good point. So seeing the hand of Krishna and everything, and seeing that ultimately it is the Supreme Lord who's giving some opulence to some person. So what's the need to be envious? Okay. So I'm sure you may have read these purports, but always good to revise. Very well. 7th canto, 5th chapter, 12th verse. So quite well known. So this is a very important purport where Srila Prabhupada is giving some very practical instructions. Welcome, Hare Krishna. Finally, the Ishwar has come. There'll be some order. When the Ishwar is there, some order. That's what. Aage jao. Okay, read the translation.
When the Supreme Person of Godhead is pleased with the living entity because of his devotional service, one becomes a Pandita and does not make distinctions between enemies, friends, and himself. Intelligently, he then thinks, every one of us is an eternal servant of God. Therefore, we are not different from one another.
Okay, so how one can develop this correct understanding and attitude? When the Supreme Lord is pleased. When the Supreme Lord is pleased with devotional service, then one gets the proper understanding that ultimately everyone is Jivatma, everyone is servant, everyone is on the same platform. So one will get the proper understanding when the Supreme Lord is pleased. Then one actually becomes Pandit. Then one does not make distinctions, enemies, friends. Okay, go now. Okay. Okay, so vision of ekatvam. Although there's relation master and servant, both master and servant are one because of their spiritual identity. That is ekatvam. Okay, next. Down, down, down. Okay, read this. Everyone should be.
Everyone should be friendly for the service of the Lord. Everyone should praise another's service to the Lord and not be proud of his own service. This is the way of Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There may be rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service, but in the Vaikuntha planets, the service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is Vaikuntha competition. There is no question of enmity between the servants. Everyone should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. Since everyone is a servant, everyone is on the same platform and is allowed to serve the Lord according to his ability, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 15th verse. Sarvasya chaham hridisanne vishnu matta smritirigyanam apohanam cha. The Lord is situated in everyone's heart, giving dictation according to the attitude of the servant. However, the Lord gives Lord gives different dictation to the non-devotees and devotees. The non-devotees challenge the authority of the Supreme Lord, and therefore the Lord dictates in such a way that the non-devotees forget the Lord's service, life after life, and are punished by the laws of nature. But when a devotee very sincerely wants to render service to the Lord dictates in a different way. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Tesham satatayuktanam prajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yenamama priyantite. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everyone is actually a servant, not an enemy or friend. And everyone is working under different directions from the Lord, who directs each living entity according to his mentality.
So this is the non-envious mentality. Vaikuntha thinking. What is Vaikuntha thinking? Go to the. Everyone praises another service. Praise another service, not be proud of his own service. This is Vaikuntha thinking. So others' services are to be appreciated, and one should not think one's own service to be most important. So this is Vaishnava thinking, Vaikuntha thinking. There may be rivalries and apparent competition between servants in performing service. But in Vaikuntha planet, service of another servant is appreciated, not condemned. This is Vaikuntha competition. So what are the differences between material competition and Vaikuntha competition? Actually, Prabhupada writes this in one letter also to one devotee. Very nicely explains difference between material competition and Vaikuntha competition.
Material competition, we try to bring other person down. We want to go ahead and push them down. But spiritual competition, we want that everyone should be better than my performance or my service. But I also want to do better to please the Lord. Getting inspired by other service.
Correct. That's one important point. So material competition means trying to drag others down. Spiritual competition means encouraging, inspiring each other.
In Bhagavatam, two places come, Aham Purvam. One come in the 8th canto, where the demons are in material competition.
Correct.
And in the 10th canto, where the
Correct.
Gopas are in a spiritual competition.
Correct.
But their consciousness to put, we go front to inspire others to go more ahead of us for Krishna. But
Correct.
here they want to drink the nectar first, and they were fighting there.
Correct. Good example. Good. Yes, bro.
In the material competition, one's ego is the center. But in spiritual competition, Krishna's pleasure is the center. So even if one goes down, it's okay, but Krishna has to be pleased. Like gopis are telling, we're ready to go to hell
Correct.
for millions of years. Lord
Yes.
Krishna's headache goes.
Yes, very nice. Yes, so in material competition, oneself is in the center and one's self-satisfaction. But in spiritual competition, Krishna's pleasure is in the center. Something else?
But Prabhu, it's very normal that when we are talking about the limited, there will always be competition, and when the unlimited is in the center, there is no need for competition.
Yes, good point. So here in the material world, everything is limited, so a lot of competition. So one job, 4 lakh applicants. So obviously there's going to be a lot of competition. But in the spiritual world, unlimited service. There's unlimited service. There's no need for competition. Unlimited service is there.
Prabhuji, one more point, can I?
Wait. Arjuneshwar Prabhu is saying something valuable.
Okay.
Competition will be there because somebody will be better than others also in spiritual world.
Ah.
Therefore, Prabhupada writes here, there may be rivalries.
So that's
and
what, no, it's correct. But then what is the mentality? That's what we're discussing.
It will be to please Krishna and everyone gets their best to serve.
Correct. Everyone, as Prabhupada is writing further down, everyone should be allowed to render service to the Lord to the best of his ability, and everyone should appreciate the service of others. Such are the activities of Vaikuntha. So that is material. I mean spiritual. That is spiritual competition. So everyone is allowed. Yes, Mataji?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in material competition, actually, it will lead to anxiety, pride, when somebody is winning.
Yes.
Also, it will lose. Actually, the service attitude or bhakti will increase, our heart will also get purified, and we will deepen also our relationship with Krishna. Whereas in material this, we won't deepen our relation and we'll go into the cycle of birth and death, Prabhuji.
Right. So, yes, so when there's material competition, there's so much of anxiety, there's so much of frustration. Oh, he's going ahead, he's having more followers, what can I do? I should also get more. So there's a lot of anxiety. Of course, in the spiritual world also there is anxiety. But that anxiety is not for oneself. That anxiety is how to please, how to serve. So these things are very important. So sometimes because we are still on the sadhaka platform, so therefore we may still have some contamination of material competition in our spiritual services. That leads to problems. So there could be material contamination in spiritual competition. So competition could be spiritual in rendering spiritual services, but there could be some material contamination. So how do we identify that? So everyone will say, oh, we're rendering service to Krishna, we're trying to please Krishna, we're trying to please Prabhupada, book distribution, we're trying to please Srila Prabhupada with book distribution. Or everyone wants to please the devotees, please Krishna by rendering any other type of service. It could be youth preaching, pujari service. So, but in these services, how do we identify whether I am being materially contaminated? My competitive spirit is becoming materialistic rather than spiritual. How do I identify that myself?
When we feel bad when someone else is going up.
Okay, one thing is, yes, I feel bad when somebody else is going up. Okay, Madhu Prabhu? Unko mic? Okay, so that is the positive aspect. So how do we identify when there's a material competition, a material contamination within spiritual services? Give him.
You think that you are the only best person in that service, and you are not able to appreciate other people. I am doing this. Koi kar sakta hai kya? I am the master. I can do this service the most. Material contamination.
Okay, good. Yes, so one doesn't want others to come up. Yes. Keep others down. Yes.
If in that competition our chanting gets disturbed, then that is material.
Yes. So if our chanting is getting disturbed because of that, one is constantly thinking, what can I do about this? Oh, this person is trying to come up. How to push him down? So if that is the meditation during chanting, problem. Red signal. Yes, Arjuneshwar Prabhu.
We don't leave the post until we are thrown away, or even so many devotees will say, "Arey, go away from here, go away," but still holding the post, holding the post. Do not
Okay, so material attachments. Okay, so material attachments could be a symptom of, yes, the material contamination. Yes? Prabhu? Yes, we feel internal pleasure when somebody is going down, somebody is being criticized, somebody is being chastised. Paradukha sukhi.
Online?
Yes, very subtle. Yes, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, when actually when we are materialistic attitude, no, then we think that okay, I want to be greater than that person. When we have that spiritual attitude now, we will always think that no, I want to please, I want Krishna to be pleased, more pleased. So even if you are doing better than me, ultimately my Krishna is being pleased, so I'm happy in that also, even if you do better than me.
Right. Yes. So this is these are all very subtle. Of course, not so easy to practice, but we should at least know about it. At least theoretically, we should understand, and we should at least try to detect it within our own consciousness. And if we detect it within our own consciousness, we should make a sincere effort to remove these weeds. These are weeds.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Puja, la, pratishtha, all the kutinati, all these are weeds. And sometimes, of course, weeds become very difficult to detect. But if we detect, we should make efforts to remove.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Sometimes in challenging situations, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, can I?
Yes, Mother.
Sometimes in a challenging situation, if somebody is coming for counseling to you and if you are not able to answer that question, that also disturbs you day and night. Like somebody is doing some criminal type behavior, so then to solve that problem becomes very difficult. And then we are not answerable to the person concerned. Then in that situation, what should be your attitude? And many times we become so much disturbed because of such type of attitude.
So you're asking that there is some devotee who's having some negative attitudes and some challenges. So how do we help?
And then we get disturbed because we cannot answer, we cannot solve that properly because it's a very difficult thing.
Of course, if I'm not able to help that devotee, then of course I can always seek help from other devotees, no, other senior devotees. I can take some guidance from other senior devotees, how to help that devotee, isn't it?
Yes,
yes, I can seek some help from other senior devotees and then help that devotee.
But still, at that time we get disturbed. Like
yes, that is correct. That's correct. Of course, because we have concern for that devotee, so we may be disturbed. But at the same time, we can take help of other Vaishnavas and then try to.
That is yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, shall I tell one story about one small incident about or my own envy? Myself and Arjuna Shiva were distributing books in Karnataka. So January till 25th we are distributing. Then I said, "Chalo, hum वापस जाते हैं." Then we call our Sri Gaur Bhakta, which team has what scores? Whether our score is top or no, then only will come back. So this was, I was thinking, this is total material thing. At first you are thinking of all other scores. If you are at least 500 books ahead, then you come back.
So finally, what you did?
We came back. I said, "No, bus, हो गया, अभी वापस जाना है."
Okay, thank you for.
Because I am telling this.
This marathon.
Good. हाँ बोलिए.
Actually, I wanted to ask, in Institute, Prabhuji, even though devotees are good in heart, but many times apparently it is seen, means as the service goes ahead and they have to take care of so many devotees, it appears that they have some material tendency, or it may not be there when they work individual way, but when it happens to hold the devotees together, run the mission ahead, so many times these apparent things keep coming, and it is too difficult, means as we see the people, if they are really want to be protected from all kind of blemish, they leave the post, and they remain simple. Then people say, हाँ अच्छा है. मतलब लोग ultimately detach होके ही बोलते हैं कि अब सब सही है. Then I have got the peace. But running the institution without blame, without any tinge, where is such example actually?
No, there's no such example. Even Krishna was blamed. Shamantak Jewel past time, even Krishna was blamed. So if Krishna is also not spared, then who else is spared? What? Amrish Maharaj. Durvas Muni tried to create problem. No, whatever it is, but the point is that there is always someone to create trouble. That is the point. So ultimately it's the same thing, right? Blame or trouble, it's the same thing. So being in the material world, one cannot avoid. So therefore, this is the nature of this world. Even Krishna is not spared, then what to speak of anybody else? Therefore, Krishna orchestrates all these situations in our lives so that we come to this conclusion, we realize this fact that this world is dukkhalayam and I need to get out. That is the only solution. So therefore, how much ever we try, we cannot avoid. So therefore, we have to tolerate, do the needful, and go ahead. How much Srila Prabhupada had to face? How much opposition, how much blame, how much criticism Srila Prabhupada had to face? Srila Prabhupada just went on with the service. So this is the nature of this world. Devotee, non-devotee, junior devotee, senior devotee, acharya, nobody is paid. This is just the nature of this world.
Yes, what you said is correct. I mean to say even myself or any devotee also, when we are not fully pure, so in institute we also start developing some kind of this tinge.
Correct.
But the ultimate, our resort is the service.
Correct.
That we want to serve and we want to get purified.
Correct.
Actually, slowly.
Correct.
So whatever mistake somebody does also, either the blamer or the blamed person, ultimate result is service with a dedicated heart and with a pure heart. So in institute, Prabhuji, it is very difficult to avoid from both the side.
So that is the point. So what is easy? The nature of this world is such, one cannot avoid. So therefore, the material world is meant for becoming detached, not attached.
This only I wanted to say. Then people think that detached from everything.
Yes. So what is the actual meaning of detachment?
Then simply do bhajan.
No, that is a wrong understanding of detachment.
No
That's a wrong
expectation.
understanding.
But people say that simply do bhajan.
No, people may say anything, but what is the right understanding of detachment? Whatever we say should be based on Shastra, not what people say.
May I?
No.
Say that? Give the mic here.
Online comment.
Everything belongs to Krishna, nothing belongs to me.
Okay.
So everything has to be used for service of the Lord.
Okay, everything should be used for the service of the Lord, but his question is a little different. So he's saying that how to see blame, criticism, how to see all this as mercy of the Lord. That is his question, correct? Okay, maybe online somebody is very enthusiastic.
Prabhuji, when we say that, when he was saying that, become detached, actually, Yukta Vairagya we have to use, that everything has to be utilized in Krishna's service. But when you are getting detached, you have to attach also yourself to something, no? So then you attach yourself to Krishna. Because somewhere we have the tendency of getting attached. But instead of getting attached to material thing, then we get attached to Krishna and the instructions of the Guru Prabhuji.
Okay, then what will happen? Then what will happen to the criticism and the blame and all these problems?
I mean, I didn't understand. Criticisms of what?
No, this is the discussion going on, no? The discussion is that in this world, in this institution, there is going to be criticism, blame game, so some envy, all these problems are going to be there. So what to do? That is the discussion.
Prabhuji, can I answer?
Okay, go ahead.
actually we should always should have that forgiving mentality. Then we feel pleased and happy. I feel like that. You should forgive.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay,
maybe
fine.
the age, maybe according to the as your age grows, you come to know that you have to forgive others.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay, yes, Kadam.
Detachment means detachment means Proji, like not being attached to our own, like let thy will be done and let Guru's will be done. So in such cases, when blames are coming, best is to consult superiors and let whatever they say, that is the best course of action, not attached to my own way of thinking and own opinions.
Yes, that's correct.
Prabhuji, the entire Bhagavad Gita is the principle of what we are discussing.
Exactly.
Okay, instead of people will blame you, still Arjuna is saying that Are people will blame, I will not fight. No, you have to fight for the dharma. Whether people blame you, that is the real detachment. He
Correct.
wanted to take bhajan, take sannyas, but Krishna said, no, you have to do your duty for my pleasure.
Yes. So that, yes, that's right. So basically we do our duty, and what is the outcome of that? Sometimes there's going to be criticism, sometimes there'll be praise, sometimes honor, sometimes dishonor. But in spite of all that, if something is duty, one has to go on with one's duty and not be attached to the outcome of that. This is the problem. The problem is we are attached to the outcome. If I do the service, I should get praise. That's attachment, right? So no, sometimes praise will be there, sometimes criticism will be there. But whatever may be the outcome, I have to go ahead with my duty. That's so the attachment, as Motherji rightly pointed out, the attachment is to Krishna and Krishna's duty, the service. So therefore, while performing service, there could be so many dualities one has to face, but in spite of that, I go ahead. That's the only solution. One has to transcend the dualities. Transcend them by Krishna consciousness. So raise the level of consciousness. Then the dualities of this world will seem to be insignificant. You go high up in the sky, everything on the ground will appear to be very small. So if we raise our consciousness high to the transcendental platform, then the material problems, the material dualities will appear to be very insignificant. That's the only solution. We cannot change the nature of this material world. We need to change ourselves. We need to change our consciousness, our outlook in dealing with these situations. That's the only way. Otherwise, we cannot change the situation of this world. Okay, fine. So that's okay. So that purport. Yes, so I think so. We discussed most of the points. So everyone is a servant. Okay, another important point is, since everyone is a servant, everyone is on the same platform and is allowed to serve the Lord according to his ability. So ultimately, everyone is servant. If we understand this, this will save us from both superiority complex and inferiority complex. Everyone is on the same platform. Ultimately, everyone is servant. Guru also is thinking I'm servant. The GB is also thinking I'm servant. Ultimately, everyone on the same platform. Everyone is a servant. So therefore, there is nothing higher and lower. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, so many lectures. Pujari on the altar, somebody cleaning the floor, same platform. On the spiritual platform, it's all the same. Absolute, right? So there's no need to think that I'm superior, or there's no need to think I'm inferior. So if one is on that platform, then one will remain satisfied. Otherwise, if one doesn't understand this, then one will think, oh no, that service superior. Then there's hankering for that. No. Everyone should be satisfied with his own service according to one's ability to serve, and serve with that attitude. And when the right attitude is there, then what's the result? The Lord gives dictation according to the attitude of the servant. If you have the right attitude, then Krishna will give the right dictation, the right understanding, and that's how we can make easy progress. Fine. Another important purport, you can read this on your own. So this is another very beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada has written about Vrindavan. This is 10th canto, 13th chapter, text 60. Okay, so this is another beautiful purport. Srila Prabhupada, one of his concluding purports that Srila Prabhupada has given. Srila Prabhupada is lying in Vrindavan, and he is beautifully describing Vrindavan and the Vrindavan atmosphere. And there he gives one specific cause of envy. Basically, the whole purport is describing the non-envious nature of Vrindavan. And there he gives one specific cause of envy and a specific solution. Yes, the cause of envy is sense gratification. Envy develops because of sense gratification, but in Vrindavan, there is no sense gratification, for only aim is Krishna satisfaction. Okay, so that's how we create the Vaikuntha atmosphere. So ultimately, see, we are discussing all these things. The personal application, practical application is individual responsibility, that nobody can do anything, right? But if we individually we try to apply these things, then we will make progress. Individually we'll make progress, collectively everyone will benefit. Otherwise, discussions will simply remain on theoretical platform. When we are put in a situation, then we should try to remember these things and try to apply them as an austerity. It's not natural in the conditioned state, but as an austerity, we need to try to apply these principles. Otherwise, the same materialistic consciousness, same material problems will continue, right, even within the spiritual society. And so go to the end. The end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving a solution. Right. So this is the nature of one paragraph before. Yes. So whatever is given by Krishna, let us divide as prasad and eat. Okay, so there's no envy. Nobody is trying to grab everything for oneself. Right. Whatever Krishna has given, let's distribute. Let everyone be happy. But this mentality cannot appear all of a sudden, but it will gradually develop with Krishna consciousness by sadhana. One can come to this. So ultimately, one needs to get purified. The consciousness needs to get purified. Then one can come to that platform. So therefore, the quality of sadhana is very important for that purification. So if the purification doesn't take place, then same problems, material problems in spiritual society also.
7.5.11. There is something similar written, which is even I felt to understand properly. So can you please help to understand?
Okay.
Where Prabhupada, maybe if you want, you can show. That is 7.5.11 purport, Srila Prabhupada. So I am reading as Prabhupada is saying. Maybe it's a second paragraph or so. As servants of the Supreme Lord, all living entities are one. But a Vaishnava, because of his natural humility, addresses every other living entity as Prabhu. A Vaishnava sees other servants to be so advanced that he has much to learn from them. Thus he accepts all other devotees of the Lord as Prabhus, masters. Although everyone is a servant of Lord, one Vaishnava servant, because of humility, sees another servant as his master. So my question is, this line I want to understand. So Prabhupada is saying here, understanding of the master begins from understanding of the spiritual master. Understand this line.
Although everyone is a servant of the Lord, one Vaishnava servant, because of humility, sees another servant as his master. Okay, that's a good point. So yes, everyone is on the same platform as servants, but still one servant sees another servant as master. So that's why he addresses as Prabhu. Yes. So understanding of the master begins from understanding of the spiritual master. Go down. And yes, okay. Wait. Oneness is possible through this understanding, not through artificially thinking that every one of us is God or equal to God. The true understanding is that God is the Supreme Master and that all of us are servants of the Supreme Lord and are therefore on the same platform. So the point is what? Okay, somebody wants to explain that. What does it mean? Understanding understanding of the master begins from understanding of the spiritual master. Huh? आपके इसमें सुप्रीम मास्टर है क्या? नहीं? Okay, that's correct. That is understandable. But what about that statement? He wants to understand that statement. Okay, Sri Chaitanya.
For somebody who is new, he knows how to respect Guru. Outside people, they know Guru, how to respect. He's a Guru, he's heavy. So they know he is master. And that when they respect him, then they can see even others also in that mood. Otherwise, for a new person to see everybody as Prabhu is not possible. But if somebody is respecting Guru and spiritual master, and by slowly understanding that relationship, then he can see others also as Prabhu. So it begins from Guru.
Okay, good point. Yes, good point. Yes, Sakshi.
Same Prabhuji, same lecture was given by His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj in Pune, Kunjibai temple in a Sharanagati seminar. Same point he said. First you serve one person. One spiritual master, when you serve, then he will educate you to see every person as a master. And that is a mood of Vrindavan.
Correct.
I think he was talking of this purpose.
Correct, ma'am.
So, understanding of master begins from the understanding of spiritual master means he should hear from a spiritual master. Like Ishopanishad or NY speaks about Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama. So there's a description of Kanishta Vikar. He comes, sees temple, sees the Lord and goes. But then as elevates, then he starts seeing people from 4 levels. Innocent, compassion, other things. So basically should serve and hear from him. Then you understand the glory of people around. Otherwise he'll be in the Kanishta level.
Correct. Yes, so that's the point. So one understands, one naturally has respect and submission towards the spiritual master. Correct. And so when one continues on in that service and when one gets purified, then one can see that other devotees are also serving that master. Then that's how one develops respect to others also. Right. So then one can see others also as master, because they are also serving the spiritual master. So the respect develops because of the relation. Prabhupada gives a simple example. He says, just like the newlywed wife goes to the husband's house, then initially she has no relationship with the husband's parents or the husband's brothers, sisters, all those other people. But then when she goes to that house, she develops relation with whom? The husband. And because of the relation with the husband, then she can appreciate all the others who are in relationship to the husband. So the same principle. So if one doesn't have appreciation for the Guru only, then where is the question of appreciating those who are in relationship with the Guru? So in our society, of course, as one society, then we are all related to Srila Prabhupada as the founder Acharya. Then we see everyone in connection to Srila Prabhupada and how everyone is trying to serve Srila Prabhupada, then one can develop respect to all the devotees who are sincerely serving Srila Prabhupada. So then one can see everyone else also as master because they're serving the spiritual master. But if one doesn't have respect for Srila Prabhupada himself, then where is the question of respecting others who are serving Srila Prabhupada? So therefore, that focus has to be there. Okay. Yes, so
I
therefore,
can say that okay, he's master, but I can teach him something.
So then what is the meaning of accepting someone as master? Needless to say. Yes. Nothing is easy. Huh. So don't blame me if we don't complete much, huh? You are only in control.
Prabhuji, you are master, Prabhuji.
No, hey. Who's Ishwar here?
Prabhuji, I mean to say, here one more point, as Sakshi also said, that we can only understand anyone as a master if he is representing a spiritual master properly.
Correct.
This is one very important thing.
Correct.
So we have to understand spiritual master by serving. Therefore, the next verse is there, Yas Prashadas Bhagat. So when we
Correct.
serve, we understand spiritual master properly. And then those who serve also, then they can become master of those who really are servants. So everybody will see that because I am serving and Guru represents the same way. So he is also like master for me.
Correct.
The same master quality will appear in everyone because everyone is serving the master.
Correct. That's correct. Thank you. Okay, fine. So, but those who are materially conditioned, then they have envy, they're attached to their own corpse-like material bodies. Mritake sanubhande asmin. And they develop baddha sneha, and the result is patanti adha. So that should not happen. Okay, take 16. Ye kevalyam samprapta ye chatitascha mudatam traivargika hi akshanika atmanam ghatayanti te.
Those who have not achieved knowledge of the absolute truth. 8. Who are still beyond the darkness of complete ignorance, generally follow the threefold path of pious material life, namely religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification. Not having time to reflect on any higher purpose, they become the killers of their own soul.
Yes. So those who don't have the proper knowledge of the absolute truth, ye kevalyam asamprapta. So they don't have proper knowledge, they are mudatham, then the only goal is traivargika, dharma, artha, kama. And as a result of that, atmanam ghatayanti te, or as other place of Bhagavatam says, atmaha, killer of the soul, or the Ishopanishad also saying, atmaha. So here the purport mentions, those who are not completely sinful experience some mitigation of the miseries of material life and thus develop a false sense of well-being within the material world. Because those who are materially pious generally obtain worldly prosperity, bodily beauty, pleasant family situation. They become falsely proud of their position and not inclined to associate with or accept instructions from the devotees of the Lord. Okay, so this is the problem with somebody being in material goodness. So he becomes attached to what? Somebody in goodness becomes conditioned by what? Yes, Sukham and Jnanam. So he thinks, okay, life is going on peacefully, no problems. So that was a problem when Srila Prabhupada tried to preach to Indians before going to the West, that was a problem. So they were saying, oh Swamiji, where life is going on well, what is the problem? Why do you say it's miserable? So that is the problem with material piety. Unfortunately, all material activities, whether pious or impious, are inevitably contaminated by sinful activity. Those who are proud of their piety and do not like to hear about Krishna sooner or later fall down from the artificial position. Why? Those who are proud of their piety do not like to hear about Krishna sooner or later fall down. Yes. So different karmas. So basically they may be in goodness, but what is the problem with material goodness? It's also? Okay, it also leads to karma. Okay, pride comes because of that. And material goodness is also not a stable situation. Material goodness also can easily be influenced by rajas and tamas. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, 10th verse. What is it? Yes, there is constant competition for supremacy amongst the modes. So therefore, it is not that the material goodness is a stable situation. So to be in that material goodness also requires what? Prabhupada says two things in that purport. What? Okay. Okay. Even to be in material goodness requires constant practice and determination. Because Rajas and Tamas are just waiting. The moment the Sattva comes little down, Rajas and Tamas will come up. Therefore, constant practice and determination is required, even to remain on the material goodness platform. Because it is like trying to swim against the currents. If one is a little lax, inattentive, what will happen? One will be swept by the river. So therefore, the constant practice is required. So ultimately, of course, the various practice of devotional service will at least keep us in material goodness, and later on we can transcend. So that is the point. What? हाँ बोलो. Correct. So therefore, this practice and determination is to follow the rules and regulations of Shastra, to follow Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. That is the determination. So the determination, if the determination is only to remain in goodness without connection to spirituality, then that goodness cannot last long. So therefore, if one actually wants to remain in goodness, then it has to be in accordance to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So when it is in accordance to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, then automatically humility will come. So, but now my determination should be to follow. That is my determination. So when I keep aside my own whimsical tendencies and agree to follow, then automatically humility will come. Okay. Okay. Further down, the word akshanika, not having a single moment to reflect, is significant in this verse. Materialistic persons cannot spare a single moment for their eternal self-interest. This is a symptom of misfortune. Such persons are considered to be killing their own souls because by their obstinacy they are preparing a dark future for themselves, from which they will not escape for a very long time. Then he gives a nice analogy here. A sick man receiving medical treatment may be encouraged by the preliminary results of the doctor's care. But if the patient becomes falsely proud of the preliminary progress in his treatment and prematurely gives up the doctor's orders, thinking himself already cured, there'll undoubtedly be a relapse. The words ye kevalyam asamprapta in this verse clearly indicate that material piety is a long way from perfect knowledge of the absolute truth. If one gives up his spiritual progress before achieving the lotus feet of Krishna, he will undoubtedly fall back into the most unpleasant material situation, even if he has achieved impersonal realization of the Brahman effulgence. Aruhi Krishna. Okay, so that's the topmost goodness. One who has realized the impersonal Brahman. Okay, so then one becomes killer of the soul because he doesn't understand his own self-interest. And what is the result if one becomes killer of the soul? Next verse. Eta atma hano shanta ajnane jnanamanina siddhantya krita kritya vai kaladvasta manorataha. आप ही पढ़ो जल्दी पढ़ो.
The killers of the soul are never peaceful because they consider that human intelligence is ultimately meant for expanding material life. Thus, neglecting their real spiritual duties, they are always in distress. They are filled with great hopes and dreams, but unfortunately, these are always destroyed by the inevitable march of time.
Kala dvasta manarataha. So many fanciful things they're imagining, planning in material life, but Kala Dvasta, everything is going to be destroyed by the influence of time. So here this verse from the Ishopanishad is being quoted. Asurya namati loka andina tamasavata. Okay, 18. Hitvatmamaya rachita griha patya surat striya tamo vishantya nichanto vasudeva paranmukaha.
Those who have turned away from the Supreme Lord, Vasudev, being under the spell of the Lord's illusory energy, are eventually forced to give up their so-called homes, children, friends, wives, and lovers, which were all created by the illusory potency of the Supreme Lord, and enter against their will into the darkest regions of the universe.
Okay, so ultimately everything is going to be taken away by time, and the result will be they have to enter into the darkest regions of the universe. Tamaha Vishanti. So, as the purport mentions, finally all these things are taken away. And the bewildered soul, in great frustration, sometimes tries to take shelter of an impersonal concept of God and liberation. And thus, the conditioned soul is always in ignorance, either pursuing illusory sense gratification or trying to avoid sense gratification by merging into the impersonal aspect of the Lord called Brahman. And then he's quoting Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ate Vishant Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kamesh. So, that is the end of the answer to the first question of Maharaj Nini. So, this is the result of one being attached to material things and at the same time trying to practice some aspects of the Vedas and at the same time remain attached to all these material things. Ultimately, one will have to enter into the darkest regions of the universe. So, that is the ultimate result. So, now the second question. What's the second question? 19th verse. Shri Rajo Vacha Kasmin Kale Sa Bhagavan Kim Varna Kidrisho Nripi Namna Vakena Vidina Pujate Tad Ihochatam.
King Nimik inquired, in what color and form does the Supreme Personality Godhead appear in each of the different ages? And with what names and by what types of regulative principle is the Lord worshipped in human society?
So, purport, it has been clearly established in the previous verses that human life is spoiled if one does not surrender to the Supreme Lord and engage in his loving devotional service. Therefore, the king is now requesting the sages to give specific details about the worship of the Lord, because this devotional process has clearly been described as the only practical means of delivering the conditioned soul. So, the basic question is what color, forms the Lord appears in different yugas. And now Sri Karabhajan is replying. In each of the 4 yugas or ages, Krita, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, Lord Keshava appears with various complexions, names, and forms, and is thus worshipped by various process. Okay, so here this is just facts. Okay, there's no much discussion on this. These are facts and figures. So we'll just read them. 21. Krite Shuklas Chaturmahur Jatilo Valkalambhara Krishna Jino Pavitakshan Bibradhanda Kamandalu.
In Satyuga, the Lord is white and forearmed. He matted locks and wear a garment of tree bark. He carries a black deer skin, a sacred thread, prayers beads, and the rod and the water pot of Brahmachari.
Okay, so this is the Yuga Udnar in Satyuga. So he's also going, so names are given in the further verses. One of the names is Shukla, he's white. And then the next verse is describing what are the qualities of people in Satyuga. Manushastu tadashanta nirvaira surda sama yajanti tapasa devam shamena cha damena cha.
People in Satyuga are peaceful, non-envious, friendly to every creature, and steady in all situations. They worship the Supreme Personality by austere meditation and by internal and external sense control.
23. Hamsa supanno vaikunto dharmo yogeshwaro mala ishvara purusho vyakta paramatmeti giyate.
In Satyuga, the Lord is glorified by the names Hamsa, Suparna, Vaikuntha, Dharma, Yogeshwara, Amala, Ishvara, Purusha, Avyakta, and Paramatma.
Okay, so the purport is mentioning a commentary of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, regarding the meanings of these names. So anyway, that you can read. Nothing.
Here, so many names of Lord are given, but which incarnation, who is that personality?
Who is the personality?
Like in like Dwapara Yuga, Krishna is that Yuga Avatar, Yuga Avatar. In Kali Yuga, Mahaprabhu. Similarly, which incarnation of Lord like is referred to in this?
So therefore, there is basically the Supreme Lord, and what is his form and what is his dress, that is being mentioned, correct? Matted locks, garment of tree bark, and all that. And he has these different names. Why he has different names? Now that is what Bhaktisudanta Thakur is explaining. What is the meaning, significance of these various names? Okay, we'll read something. Those who are self-realized know the supreme reality of the personality of God as Paramatma. Those souls who are situated in the religious system of Varnashram glorify him as Hamsa, who is transcendent to all Varnas and Ashramas. People absorbed in gross matter consider him to be Suparna. So you see, different people according to the realizations are giving different names to that same one personality. Yes. There's only one personality, but according to people's realizations, they're giving different names.
Who is that avatar? Who personality?
Huh? What? No, he's Supreme Lord, Narayan. Huh? No, so one of the forms of Narayan. That also could be one of them.
Here is Brahmachari and having Malkar.
Yes. So, but in any case, so it's a form of the Supreme Lord. Huh? Lagu Bhagavatamrita. Correct. So now we can see that. Okay, 24. Tretayam raktavarnosau chaturbahostrimekala hiranya keshastrayatma shrukshuvadya upalakshana.
In Treta Yuga, the Lord appears with red complexion. He has 4 arms, golden hair, and wears a triple belt representing initiation into each of the 3 Vedas, embodying the knowledge of worship by sacrificial performance, which is contained in Rig, Sam, and Yajur Vedas. His symbols are ladle, spoon, and other implements of sacrifice.
Okay, because that is the Yuga Dharma. What is Yuga Dharma? Treta Yuga? Yajna. So therefore all those paraphernalia for Yajna he has. So this Shruk, Shruva, Adi. So wooden ladle, spoon. So some details of that are being mentioned. Then again the characteristics of the people are mentioned. Tam tada manuja devam sarvadeva mayam harim yajanti vidya traya dharmishta brahmavadinaha.
In Treta Yuga, those members of the human society who are fixed in religiosity and are sincerely interested in achieving the absolute truth worship Lord Hari, who contains within himself all the demigods. The Lord is worshipped by the rituals of sacrifice taught in the 3 Vedas.
So in the purport is mentioned, in other words, in Satyuga people are automatically perfect, whereas in Treta Yuga people are inclined to become perfect through performing Vedic sacrifice. So by performing sacrifice, they can purify and become perfect. In Treta Yuga, human society is not automatically Krishna conscious as it was in Satyuga. But people are still highly inclined to become Krishna conscious and they strictly follow the Vedic injunctions. Okay, 26. Now various names. Vishnu Yajna Prishnigarbha Sarvadeva Urukrama Vrishakapir Jayantasya Urugaya Itiryate.
In Treta Yuga, the Lord is glorified by the names Vishnu, Yajna, Prishnigarbha, Sarvadeva, Urukrama, Vrishakapi, Jayanta, and Urugaya.
Okay, so different names. Okay, then coming to Dwapara Yuga. Dwapare Bhagavan Shama Pitavasa Nijayudaha Shrivatsadibirankescha lakshane rupalakshitaha.
In Dwapar Yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears with a dark blue complexion, wearing yellow garments. The Lord's transcendental body is marked in this incarnation with Srivatsa and the other distinctive ornaments. And he manifests his personal weapons.
Okay, so this is Krishna, as mentioned. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that these universal characteristics of the Lord mentioned by the sage Karbajan are indications of the Krishna avatar. Because Krishna is the source of all incarnations, all the symptoms of all of the incarnations are to be found in his transcendental body. 28. Tam tada purusham martyam maharajopalakshanam yajanti veda tantrabhyam param jigyasavo nripa.
My dear king, in Dwapar Yuga, men who desire to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme enjoy, worship him in the mood of honoring a great king, following the prescriptions of both the Vedas and Tantras.
Okay, so that's the Yuga Dharma, to worship the Lord with great opulence. So there's some references there from the first canto, how when Krishna was leaving Hastinapur, very royal procession. So that is being described. So further down is mentioned, as mentioned in this verse, the only favorable qualification of the residents of Dwapar Yuga is that they are Jignasava, strongly desirous of knowing the absolute truth. Otherwise, there's no good qualification mentioned. It's only one good qualification. Jignasava. So, and of course, because of that, then they try to understand the absolute truth, and then the other good qualifications also will develop. So, towards the end, it's mentioned, if the human society of even Dwapar Yuga was clearly inferior to that of Satya and Treta Yugas, we can hardly imagine the truly disastrous condition of human society in Kali Yuga. Therefore, as will be mentioned in the following verses, human beings who have taken their birth in the present age of Kali should attach themselves rigidly to the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to free themselves from foolishness. Okay, so the next verse is talking about whom they worship in Dwapar. Namaste Vasudevaya, Nama Shankarshanaya cha, Pradyumnaya Anuruddhaya, Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha, Narayanaya Rishaye, Purushaya Mahatmane, Vishveshwaraya Vishwaya, Sarvabhutatmane Namaha.
Obeisances to you, O Supreme Lord Vasudeva, and to your forms of Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all obeisances unto you. O Lord Narayan Rishi, O Creator of the universe, best of personalities, Master of this cosmos, and original form of the universe. O Super Soul of all created entities, all homage unto you.
Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that although Lord Krishna appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga, great sages chanted this verse from the beginning of that age in expectation of his appearance. Okay, so they're already worshipping Krishna. So of course, Krishna is always present. It's not that he descends only in that Dwapar Yuga. So they worship Krishna even before Krishna actually appears. So in the next paragraph it's mentioned, thus these prayers as mentioned in this verse are offered to the Supreme Lord in accordance with the Pancharatra and the Vedic mantras, so that one may become fixed in remembering his eternal subordination to the absolute truth. And then there's a description of the Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Shankarshan, Anuruddha, Pradyumna, that's been described.
They are offered to Narnarayan Rishi and Lord Krishna both, no?
This is a Chaturvyuha, no?
No, it's written down, O Lord Narayan Rishi.
Oh Lord Narayan Rishi. Okay, fine. So that's Narayan. It's not said Naranarayan Rishi, no? It's only Narayan. So it refers to Narayan only. There is no Nara there. Okay, towards the end. The Vedic mantras and the Pancharatra give mankind instructions about devotional service to the personality of Godhead, which free one from the contamination of considering oneself a prestigious member of society or a great philosopher. One in knowledge should recognize himself as a tiny servant of the supreme absolute truth. In Dwapar Yuga, deity worship of the Lord is prominent. Such deity worship is ultimately aimed at the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Without hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, one cannot perform deity worship. In deity worship, it is required that the worshipper glorify the names, forms, qualities, paraphernalia, entourage, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. When such glorification is complete, the worshipper becomes eligible to realize transcendent knowledge through hearing about the Lord. So, therefore, in deity worship also is very important that one engages in Shravanam Kirtanam. Okay. So, sometimes we find this as a problem. So, sometimes those who are doing deity worship tend to neglect Shravanam and Kirtanam. So, then the purification doesn't take place. So, therefore, it's very important. So, therefore, our acharyas have said 2 tracks. What? Yes, Bhagavad Gita, Pancharatra. Both should go side by side, like 2 railway tracks. Otherwise, the purification will not take place. 31. Iti dvapara urvisha stuvanti jagadishwaram nana tantra vidhanena kalau api tatashrino.
O king, in this way, people in Dwapar Yuga glorified the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, also people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following various regulations of the revealed scriptures. Now, kindly hear of this from me.
So the word api, kalau api, tata shrinu. So there's some emphasis there. Kalau api. In Kali Yuga also are very important this verse. It's well known that Kali Yuga is an irreligious age. Thus it is surprising that in such a completely irreligious age, the Supreme Lord is worshipped. Therefore it is stated kalau api, even in Kali Yuga. That means even though so degraded, but still there is worship of the Supreme Lord. So therefore it is at kalau api. Of course, there's another meaning of that api also is given. Huh? Yes, it's called as Tri Yugi. So anyway, so to show that how Tri Yugi, then there is the well-known verse from Prahlad Maharaj's prayers. Channa avatar, Channa kalau yad abhavas Tri Yugo. You're known as Tri Yuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas. Thus, it's difficult for common people in Kali Yuga to recognize the incarnation of the Lord, since in this age the Lord's appearance is slightly concealed. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the word Nana Tantra Vidhanena indicates the importance in Kali Yuga of the Vaishnava scriptures known as Pancharatras or Satvata Pancharatras. And then he's stating Sri Shudra Dvijamandunam. So, how all these people, for them it's very difficult to understand Supreme Lord. So, therefore, one has to follow the Pancharatras. Such devotional process as chanting the holy name of the Lord and worshipping his deity form are elaborately described in the Vaishnava Shastras known as Pancharatras. Such tantric scriptures are referred to in this verse, and it is stated that in Kali Yuga, these devotional processes taught by great acharyas such as Narad Muni are the only practical means for worshipping the Lord. Okay, fine. So the next verse begins the description of the avatar for Kali Yuga.
When we see in the Bhagavatam that Ved is sitting and meditating on the anomalies of Kali Yuga, and then he gives the very tough process, again the 4 Vedas where karma and everything. But he is envisioning the problems of Kali Yuga, then writing books for which people? Because here Prabhupada says the Kali Yuga people cannot technically, the Vedic sacrifice is technical, very tough. They cannot perform. Only Sattvatas, Samhita, what is mentioned here, that only they can perform. Sattvat Pancharatras.
So you go to the first canto, 4th chapter. What do you find there?
Narad Muni saying that why I've written.
No, even before that. Hey, open. First canto, 4th chapter, you open. So almost in the beginning of the. Go down. Go to some 10th verse or something. Yeah, wait. Okay, so how did it so happen that King Parishad met this creation? Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Further. Okay, so we know that you're expert in the meaning of all the subjects, except some portions of the Vedas, and that's when clearly explain the answers to all the questions. So this is what we were referring to yesterday. This is what? 1, 4. This is 13, no? Right. Yes, so this is what we were referring to yesterday about when we were discussing about Gyan and Vigyan. So here also you find, so this is the difference between Vedas and Puranas, like that between Brahmanas and Parivrajkas. So the Brahmanas are meant to administer some fruitive sacrifices mentioned in Vedas. Parivrajakacharyas, or learned preachers, are meant to disseminate transcendent knowledge to one and all. As such, the Parivrajakacharyas are not always expert in pronouncing the Vedic mantras, which are practiced systematically by accent and meter by the Brahmanas, are meant for administering Vedic rites. Okay. Yet it should not be considered that Brahmanas are more important than the ignorant preachers. Okay, go down. Go to the end. So see the end. Yes, the last sentence. Realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. Realization is more important than parrot-like chanting. That's the difference between Gyan and Vigyan. So somebody could have Gyan, so get information, recite verses, so all that could be possible, parrot-like chanting. But what is important is the realization. So one should be able to understand, apply. So that is what is more important. Okay, now go ahead. Okay, so then he's saying when this took place. And see, okay, now. Once upon a time, Vyasadeva, the sun rose, took his morning ablution in the waters of Saraswati, and sat alone to concentrate. Okay. So then what happened? So the great sage Vyasadeva saw anomalies in the duty of the millennium. This happens on the other different. Okay, next. So then what are the different anomalies that he saw? That is being mentioned. Okay. Then what he did? Okay, and to simplify the process, he divided the one Veda into 4 in order to expand them up. This is what he did. When he saw the anomalies of Kali Yuga, he did not begin to write Vedas and Upanishads. That was already done. But now what he did, he divided the one Veda into 4. And then he gave it to his different disciples and all.
So I'm asking, did it solve the issue?
And therefore, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. So then the 4 divisions were given. Okay, go ahead. Okay, then he gave to different professors, different sages, rishis, and they gave to their disciples. And then he was very kind, edited the Vedas so they might be assimilated by less intellectual men. This is what he did. So he did some editing there so that people of Kali Yuga can understand. So he did that also. Okay. And then what he did? He compiled Mahabharata. First, Stri, Shudra, Dvijamandunam. This is what he did. And within the Mahabharata, he placed Bhagavad Gita. So this is what he did for Kali Yuga people. Okay, fine. So we'll take 10 minutes break and then continue with the Kali Yuga avatar, the golden avatar. Okay, let's proceed. 32nd verse, famous verse. Krishna Varnam Dvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajne Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Sumedasaha.
In the age of Kali, the intelligent persons perform congregational chanting or to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
Okay, so this is Prabhupada's purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I'm sure we have read and discussed this verse many times. Krishna Varnam. So what does Krishna Varnam refer to? Yes, Krishna Varnayati. Describing Krishna, chanting Krishna's names. So Krishna Varnam, but Tvisha Akrishna. Tvisha, the luster or the color is not Krishna. That is not blackish but golden. Sa Anga. Anga. Who is the Anga? So there are three things. Anga, Upa Anga, and Astra and Parshadam, four. So who is being referred to? Anga, Upa Anga, Astra, and Parshadam. Okay, so see what he's writing. Sango Pangastra Parshadam further indicates that Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. His body is always decorated with ornaments of sandalwood and sandalwood paste. By super excellent beauty, he subdues all the people of the age. In other descents, the Lord sometimes used weapons to defeat the demoniac. But in this age, the Lord subdues them with his all attractive features, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Jiva Goswami explained that his beauty is his astra to subdue the demons. Okay, so beauty is astra. And then who are his Sangha? Because he is all attractive, it is to be understood that all the demigods lived with him as his companions. And then Upanga is Sangha, Upanga. Upanga is the other devotees. So Sangha is the devatas, then Upanga are the other devotees, Astra is his beauty, and then Parshad is Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas. So that is how he is accompanied by Sangha, Upanga, Astra, and Parshada. Srila Jiva Goswami cites a verse from the Vedic literature that says that there is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions. He comments that instead of engaging in such external pompous exhibitions, all people, regardless of caste, color, or creed, can assemble together and chant Hare Krishna to worship Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, to worship Lord Chaitanya, everyone should together chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so this so this should be the main emphasis in this age. the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. These days we are finding a lot of yajnas and this and that coming up. Narsim yajna, this yajna, that yajna. I don't know why they're coming up. But at least Srila Prabhupada didn't teach any of these things and didn't emphasize any of these things. We know, in fact, Srila Prabhupada, even during his sannyas ceremony, you know the pastime, right? Even during his sannyas ceremony. So he was, even though there were Brahmanas chanting Vedic mantras, but Prabhupada was encouraging them to chant Hare Krishna. And the same thing during, yes, installation of Krishna Balaram, same thing. So that was Srila Prabhupada's faith and that was Srila Prabhupada's emphasis. And so I think it's very important that we continue that emphasis. Now there's so many other things are coming up these days. So actually there's no need. That's what Jiva Goswami is also saying. There is no necessity of performing sacrificial demonstrations or ceremonial functions, external pompous exhibitions. So much of money. So of course these days devotees are justifying them, saying that okay, it's good for preaching, people will be attracted and all that. So same thing, pompous exhibition. But then if it is not in line with what acharyas have told us and what the Shastra is saying, what's the use? Temple installation is fine. So we find during Prabhupada's time that that's the only thing that was done. There was only two types of yajnas were done. One is Diksha and second is deity installation. There was no other. Marriage. Marriage, of course, that's for the grihasthas. But in general, in temples, basically only these two were done. I really don't know. So, so anyway, so therefore these unnecessary things should not be done. They're actually a distraction from the main goal. Unnecessarily so much of endeavor, energy, money, so much of things are going all this. But neither the Shastras nor our Acharyas have emphasized these things. That's what. So we really don't know from where these things are coming. So any case. Maybe, I don't know. But in any case, okay, that is in general, but then we have to see what our acharyas have taught us. No? That is what we have to see. Anyway, let them decide.
They tell that we are not pure practitioners. We are not able to follow the.
That's why you have to chant Hare Krishna.
They say that chanting is good.
No, this is nonsense. So then if we are not pure enough to chant Hare Krishna, then how we are pure to do those yajnas? Those yajnas require even more qualified people. Then how one is qualified for that in Kali Yuga?
I recently had gone for one of yatras to Nashik. The many devotees were coming for this. Devotees were coming for Omkareshwar and this yagya, Pitru yagya and this yagya. They said ki we are not yet that pure devotee that we have that past karmic balance and all. So they are to nullify and all. Many devotees of ISKCON also they were there.
Now that's what I'm saying. These days many funny things are happening. So, but where is the reference? So Prabhupada keeps telling again and again in his purports that there are no proper brahmanas to chant the mantras properly, so many things are required. So these different yagyas are not possible only in this age. So then, if they are not qualified to perform only, then what's the use of performing? So better chant Hare Krishna and become qualified first. So how can they say that, well, we are, that means what they're trying to say, chanting Hare Krishna is not sufficient, correct? That's what they're trying to say. Something else is required. So this is contamination, lack of faith. This is lack of faith. So Prabhupada was very clear. Prabhupada's main, as he writes in Markane Bhagavad Dharma, Bhakti nahi Veda nahi Naam Khub Dharma. So that was the strength of Srila Prabhupada with which he went to the West, his faith in the holy name. And that is why he could distribute. So now these people don't have that much faith and they want to introduce new things, thinking that things will work. But how it will work without having the faith in the process given by the Acharya and the Shastras?
Like similar argument we had when put that this chanting, that time they said ki for many material problems, so we are not taking help on spiritual things. He said for material problems, they said ki like chanting can cure even all bodily disease and everything also. Means it can liberate. But we go to doctor, we have to take help of medicines. So this is the material part. So that's why I have to take some gemstone and that astrology and horoscope and vastu doshas and all. He said, so for material things we are taking help like a doctor. No, we are not going to demigods for. So how to see this?
So, but ultimately everything has to be seen in accordance to what Acharyas have told us. So Srila Prabhupada did sanction going to a doctor. He didn't sanction all these funny yajnas. He never sanctioned all that. Don't say many times. Once in a blue moon, and that too he was not attached to it. If it was possible, it was possible, otherwise no. He was hardly attached to all these things.
There is a then later, one astrologer comes to Prabhupada and he said, okay, let's see astrology. And after that, he said, let's see fun now. He said, Prabhupada said to the disciple, let's see some fun now. A lot of.
So, Srila Prabhupada never had faith in all these things. And of course, Prabhupada's faith in doctors also was practically nil. Prabhupada, he clearly said that even towards his final days, he didn't want to be in hospital with tubes and this and that. Needles. So, Prabhupada hardly went even to doctors. So, that was Srila Prabhupada's this. But for devotees, occasionally would say, okay, do the needful, you can go to some doctor. So, that is our... So, Srila Prabhupada's, if you see, Prabhupada had great faith in the chanting of the holy name and the Supreme Lord, just depend on Krishna. In fact, there is one letter where Srila Prabhupada very clearly tells one devotee that if you can avoid taking medicine, going to the doctor and just depend on Krishna, is very nice. You'll find it, you can see. So, of course, if sometimes Prabhupada himself prescribes some medicine also. So, but then all these things have to be minimal. Not that our dependence on these things increases.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Okay, we have entered into controversial zone, it looks like. and so
we have entered because there's a discussion. It has to be ended on both balance side. Because you mentioned that from where these things are coming. Correct. And now Mayapur, and they do deity worship and they do yajna. Prabhupada has told it. Have you read that? I'm just asking you.
What he has told?
That there has to be every day yajna for the deity's pleasure. So they are doing. And it is given in a Pancha Ratra Prativeda, Shad Dipika book. Prabhupada has mentioned that book. And the Samskara, when Prabhupada was there are no Grihasthas only. There was no Grihastha ashram. Everybody was in Western country, all hippies are there. Where's the Grihastha ashram there? And then so many times Prabhupada says we have to perform the 16th Samskara. Then what is the 16th Samskara? Do anybody know that idea? What is the 16th Samskara? But he's mentioning that all the Grihastha children has to do 16th Samskara. Hardly there was opportunity for them at that time. There's no culture there. There's no culture. So these things are slowly coming up. But again, what you said that we have to emphasize the holy name. We cannot take shelter of all these yajnas. So two things, that Srimad Bhagavatam and holy name. And also sometimes we do bridge preaching. we are giving DOS in the college. Where is the Harinam Sankirtan there? Why we are doing DOS pitching there? Ultimately, we have to bring them to Holy.
That is glorification of the Lord. That whole philosophy is glorification.
No, but there is a like mind management. We
So
are talking sometimes the material things only.
Mind management is there in the Bhagavatam also.
Prabhuji, then the sanskaras also there. No, but that is, we are not talking about the holy name purely. It is a bridge preaching. Ultimately, we are bringing now, for example, we have to do, Grihastha has to do Vastu Shanti. He will go to some other Karmi Brahman. He will tell, ye karo, wo karo. So therefore, they have given, according to our Vaishnava literature, you call our Vaishnava Acharya, chant the holy, because they have material desire. They have the material desire. They are not qualified for this. Now some Grihastha want a child. What a solution our society has. Dasharath Maharaj performed such a yajna. Why did he perform yajna then? He should have just chanted Hare Krishna. Why you want a child? Just question. I don't have also the answer of all this question. I am asking you also because you are not superior. He has a material desire. That
Correct. Correct. Perfect. Thank you very much for your valuable comments. Text 33. Deyam sada paribhavagnamabhishtadoham tirtaspadam shiva virinchinutam sharanyam Bhrityartiham pranatapala bhavabdipotam Vande Mahapurushate Charanarvindam. Translation. माइक इधर नहीं आ रहा है, यहाँ इस साइड. हाँ तो ये यहाँ से माइक तो है लेकिन ये साइड कोई पढ़.
My dear Lord, you are the Mahapurusha, the supreme master of Godhead, and worship your lotus feet, which are the only eternal object of meditation. Those feet destroy the embarrassing conditions of the material life, and you free out the greatest desire of the soul, the attainment of a pure love of Godhead. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the shelter of all holy places and of all saintly authorities in line of devotional service, and are honored by powerful demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. My Lord, you are so kind that you willingly protect all those who simply bow down to you with respect, and thus you mercifully relieve all the distress of your servants. In conclusion, my Lord, your lotus feet are actually the suitable boat for crossing over the ocean of birth and death, and therefore even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva seek shelter at your lotus feet.
Okay, so this is glorification of the Supreme Lord, but in this connection, it is glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because that is what has been described in the previous verse. So this is the result of worshipping the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. So the result is paribhavagnam, just like Klesh Agni, so similarly paribhavagnam destroys the various miseries of material existence. And then Tirtaspadam, Shiva Virinchi Nutam. So even Lord Shiva, Brahma bow down, they take shelter, Sharanyam. And what? And how does the Lord reciprocate? Bhritya Artiham. He takes away the artha, the suffering of the Bhritya, the servants. And so in this way, Prantapala Bhavabdi Potam. So the lotus feet act like boats. Which is the other verse which is comparing the lotus feet to the boat? Huh? Samashutaye padapallavaplavam mahat padam punya yasho murari bhavam buddhir vatsa padam param padam 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 yad vipadam natesham. So similar. Correct. Yes. So the second paragraph of the purport, the words dheyam sada, or always to be meditated upon, indicate that there are no hard and fast rules in this age for chanting the holy names of Krishna. In Kali Yuga, the authorized process of meditation is to chant the holy names of the Lord, especially the mantra. Hare Krishna. This process to be executed constantly and always. Then he's quoting Mahaprabhu's verse, Nam Namakari Bhuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. So, and then he's saying, however, one should. Normally, there are strict regulations governing time, season, place, conditions, etc., under which one may execute a particular Vedic ceremony or chant a particular mantra. However, one should chant the holy name of Krishna everywhere and at all times, 24 hours a day. That there is no restriction in terms of time and place. This is the meaning of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement. The word paribhavagnam is significant in this verse. In Kali Yuga, human society is infected with enviousness. So the root cause of all distress is envy. And then he's describing envy, we already discussed. Between everyone in society, there's envy. So, and further down, he's saying it's not possible to save the material body, but one who takes shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loosens the hard knot of the heart that psychologically binds him to the hallucination of identifying with the external body of the subtle material mind. Once this false identification is broken, one can be blissful in any adverse material condition. In this verse, the word Tirtha Spadham means that the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the shelter of all holy places. And then they're very nicely explaining. So devotees outside India, they may not be able to come to Vrindavan and Mayapur. But wherever there's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the holy places are present. He is giving example of his own zone, Hridayanand Maharaj. He was preaching in South America, so therefore he is giving that example of South America. Very difficult for a large number of devotees to visit such place in India and purify themselves. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that simply by worshipping him, Vaishnavas throughout the world receive the benefit of having visited the supreme holy place, namely the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no loss for the followers of the Krishna conscious movement despite external situations. Okay, so wherever there's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the holy places are present. So in this regard, Srila Vishwanath Thakur has stated, Kalau dravya desha kriyadi janitam durvaram apavatriyam api nashankaniyam iti bhava. In this age, the world is so polluted by sinful life that's very difficult to become free from all of the symptoms of Kali Yuga. Still, one who is faithfully serving in the missionary work of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu need not fear occasional, unavoidable symptoms of Kali Yuga. And then he's saying how the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu follow these various rules. And however it may happen that by accident an occasional symptom of Kali Yuga such as envy, anger, lust, greed, etc. may momentarily appear in the life of a devotee. But if such a devotee is actually surrendered to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy, such an unwanted symptom or anartha will quickly disappear. Therefore, a sincere follower of the Lord should never be discouraged in the execution of his prescribed duty, but should be confident that he will be protected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, so this, of course, we'll discuss again in the future verses. And then he says the words Brityarthi Ham Pranata Pala indicate that if one simply bows down without duplicity at the lotus feet of the Lord, Pranata, then the Lord will give such a sincere candidate all protection. Okay, so you simply by bowing down also, the Lord will reciprocate. And then, of course, then what to speak of serving? This verse does not mention that one need be an exalted devotee of the Lord. Rather, it is stated that if one simply bows down at the Lord's lotus feet, he will get all protection. And this also applies to anyone who is trying to serve the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even the neophyte will get all protection by the mercy of the Lord. And then he's describing Bhavabdi Potam, the boat. Then Shiva Virinchi Nutam also indicates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is worshipped by Lord Shiva's incarnation Advaita Acharya and Lord Brahma's incarnation Haridas Thakur. And then further down, those yogis who falsely select some other object of meditation besides the lotus feet of the Lord are simply creating obstructions to their own eternal life. When the meditator, the meditation, and the object of meditation are on the eternal platform of the Lord, then actual shelter has been achieved. And then is giving the meanings of different words from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Okay, next. Tyaktva sudustyaja surepsitarajalaxmim dharmishta arya vachasa yadagadanyam maya mrigam dayatiyepsitamanvadhabad vande mahapurushate charanarvindam.
Oh Mahapurusha, I worship your lotus feet. You give up the association of the goddess of fortune and all of her opulence, which is most difficult to announce and is hankered after by even the great demigods. Being the most faithful follower of the path of religion, you thus left for the forest in obedience to the Brahmana's curse. Out of sheer mercifulness, you chase after the fallen conditioned souls who are always in pursuit of the false enjoyment of illusion and at the same time engage in searching out your own desired object. Lord Shyam Sundar.
Okay, so as is mentioned, this verse applies to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Ramchandra, as well as Lord Krishna. To all three of them it applies. So when it comes to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so Tyaktva Sudustyaja Surepsita Raja Lakshmam refers to what? Yes, giving up his which wife? Vishnu Priya, who was Sura Ipsita, desired by even the Devatas, Raj Lakshmi. Very difficult to give up, Sudustyaja. And then Dharmishta, he was Dharmishta, always very strictly followed the various principles of Dharma. As we know, as a sannyasi, Mahaprabhu was especially very strict as a sannyasi. As we see in all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all that. Chota Haridas, so very strict. Dharmishta, Arya Vachasa. What does this refer to? Arya Vachasa, Yadagat Aranyam. So he went to Aranyam. That, yes, which Brahmana? Yes, why he cursed? Yes, the Srivasangan Kirtan. So therefore he became angry and he cursed him. And of course Mahaprabhu was very happy. And so therefore he left and went after whom? Maya Mrigam Dayataya. So those who are running after Maya, so the conditioned souls who are running after Maya, then the Lord out of his mercy, he wanted to deliver them, and therefore he took sannyas. Forest, South India? Yes, so basically it indicates Vanaprastha, sannyas, leaving home. Leaving home. He traveled to the forests of Jharkhand and South India and that also. Yes. Of course, Prabhupada in the word-to-word meaning, he says Aranyam to the forest, taking to the renounced order of life. So renounced order of life is also, traditional sannyasis would go to the forest. So, okay, so these things are explained. Of course, the commentary also explains how this verse applies to Lord Ramachandra as well as Krishna.
Krishna, you can explain later. You can explain this again, just like Lord Chaitanya explained.
For Krishna. Yes. So according to Sri Jiva Goswami, this verse also describes the incarnation of Lord Krishna himself in his original blackish form. Thus the words Surepsita Raja Lakshmim indicate Sri Mathura Sampattim, or the opulence of Mathura. Mathura is described in Vedic literatures as the reservoir of all opulence because of the touch of the Lord's lotus feet in that present. But Krishna, although taking birth in the opulent city of Mathura, transferred himself to the forest village of Vrindavan. So in this case, the word Arya Vachasa indicates the order of Lord Krishna's original parents, Vasudev and Devaki. Okay, so there Surepsita Raja Lakshmim refers to Mathura, Mathura Sampatti. So that is Raja Lakshmim. So he gave up Mathura and went to Aranyam, that is Vrindavan. So that is Vrindavan. He went to Vrindavan. And who is Arya Vachasa? Vasudeva and Devaki.
They said to him that.
Of course, Devaki requested. No, she was afraid. 4-armed child. Kamsa will understand that this is the 8th child destined to kill him. So therefore, she requested, you come as a normal child. And then, of
his
course,
desire to go, I think. It was Lord's desire to go.
Ultimately, of course, it was Lord's desire only. Ultimately, but external, from an external viewpoint, it was the desire of Vasudeva and Devaki. And so therefore, that is what is representing Arya Vachasa.
And Maya Mrigam?
Maya Mrigam, see na. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, both Vasudeva and Devaki expressed their fear at the threat of Kamsa, who had already killed all of Krishna's elder brothers. The word Arya Vachasa thus indicates that with great love, they requested Krishna to kindly make some arrangement to avoid Kamsa. And Krishna, to obey their order, transferred himself to the forest village of Vrindavan, Yad Agad Aranyam. In this context, the words Maya Mrigam indicate the special exalted relationship between Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna. So here Maya refers to internal potency of Krishna, Yoga Maya. The original form of Krishna's internal potency is Srimati Radharani. Due to the inconceivable love of Srimati Radharani, Lord Krishna becomes easily controlled by her. Thus, Mrigam or animal in this case indicates Krida Mrigam or a toy animal. Just as a beautiful young girl may play with so many dolls or stuffed animals, similarly, Lord Krishna becomes just like a doll in the hands of the most beautiful young girl, Srimati Radharani. So that's the meaning of Maya Mrigam. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, Srimati Radharani performed innumerable types of worship in order to bind Krishna more and more to her, because Srimati Radharani cannot live without Krishna. Thus, due to Srimati Radharani's Aradhana or worship, Krishna can never leave Vrindavan. He runs here and there in Vrindavan, protecting the cows, playing with his friends, and engaging in countless intrigues of love with Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Thus, the word Anvadhavat indicates Krishna's boyish activities is running throughout the transcendental land of Vrindavan, tightly under the control of the love of Srimati Radharani. Okay, so that is for Krishna. And then similarly for Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra, that's easy to understand. So in the case of Lord Ramachandra, what is the Raja Lakshmi? Yes, Sita, Ayodhya. So he left all that. Now, of course, Sita came along with him. So, but the main thing is he left Ayodhya. And Arya Vachasa refers to father, Darshanath Maharaj, who was just like his guru. And then their Maya Mrigam refers to, yes, the golden deer. And then it was taken by. Okay, so that's how it applies to Lord Ramachandra. So therefore, and then he is quoting this Angani Yasya Saklendya Vrittivanti. And then he says that there is no factual difference in spiritual quality between the incarnations of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, and Lord Sri Ramchandra, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Therefore, there is no contradiction in the opinions of the Acharyas that this verse wonderfully glorifies three different manifestations of the one absolute truth. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is undoubtedly the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His transcendental attributes fulfill in every sense of the term the descriptions of the absolute truth as given by the great Chaitanya. And therefore, the last paragraph, corroborating the explanation of this verse, the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also worship in his six-armed form, Shadbhuj. So Shadbhuj, 2 arms carry water pot, danda representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then 2 arms carry flute, that's Krishna, and 2 arms, bow and arrow, that's Lord Ramchandra. So the Shadbhuj form is the actual purport of this verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so this is the Yuga avatar for this age of Kali Yuga. Text 35. Evam yugana rupabhyam bhagavan yugavartibi manujer ijjate rajan shreyasam ishvaro hari. Pardon?
Thus, O king, the supreme Lord Hari is the giver of all desirable benefits of life. Intelligent human beings worship the particular forms and names that the Lord manifests in different ages.
Hmm.
Was black. So therefore, Krishnam is mentioned, Krishna Varnam Tasha Krishnam, and it also refers to Akrishnam Mahaprabhu. This. So, but Jiva Goswami explained that it is Mahaprabhu only in that verse of Tama Krishnam. So this discrepancy, how to understand it, that because if you see, logically speaking, 3 cycle back, suppose, this Chamas Rishi, I think, there.
This is Karbhajan.
Karbhajan is speaking to King Nimi. So then whatever in his mind will be current yoga which is really coming. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not be in his mind. The Mahaprabhu appeared.
No, but he is describing one by one all of them, no? He describes Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, then he is describing Kali Yuga.
But Ramayana happened at 24 cycle and this cycle is 28 cycle. So 3 cycles before Ramayana happened. Lagu Bhagavatam, Rupa Goswami says. So if this conversation happened before 24
No,
cycle,
but these people are all Trikala Gyan. They know past, present, future. So they know what is going to happen. So what's the difficulty? Like Vyasdev is describing everything much before things happen. Because they know everything, past, present, future. So same thing here also. So the other question you had asked about Hamsa in Satya Yuga, whether it is Hamsa Avatar. So it doesn't appear to be like, Hamsa Avatar, because there is only one Yuga Avatar. Hamsa could be one of the names, but that Hamsa had a specific function. So that's like a Leela Avatar who came from, so that Hamsa Avatar doesn't propagate the Yuga Dharma, right? So therefore, here there's in this purport, there's quotation from Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So here it becomes more clear. So Srila Rupa Goswami states, Katyate Varna Namabhyam Shukla Satya Yuge Hari Rakta Shama Kramat Krishna Stretayam Dwapare Kalau. The Supreme Lord Hari is described in terms of his color and names as Shukla, white or the most pure in Satya Yuga, and as red, dark, blue, and black respectively in Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. Thus, although in each age various names suitable for glorifying the Lord are given, such as Hamsa and Suparna and Satyuga, Vishnu and Yagni and Treta Yuga, and Vasudeva and Shankarshan and Dwapar Yuga, similar names are not given for Kali Yuga, although such names exist, in order to avoid disclosing cheaply the truth of the incarnation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So different names are there, but avatar is only one. So that's what we were reading. Different names are there according to the realization of the person. He can give different names, but the avatar is only one. So, and the avatar is Shukla, white. And Treta, he is red. Dwapar, he is dark blue. And Kali is black. Huh? Yes, could be in other Kali Yugas. But in this Kali Yuga, it is special. Yes. So because in this age, it is Channa Avatar.
So that is Gaur Narayan, we say, comes when Mahaprabhu doesn't come.
Yes, yes.
So that he is black.
Yes, possible. Okay, and then the purport is describing various symptoms of Kali Yuga and all that. So that those other things are easy. So we go to 36. Kalam sabhajayantyarya gunagya sara bhaginaha yatra sankirtaneneva sarvaswartho bilabhyate.
those who are actually advanced in knowledge are able to appreciate the essential value of this age of Kali. Such enlightened persons worship Kali Yuga because in this fallen age, all perfection of life can easily be achieved by the performance of Sankirtana.
Okay, so people worship Kali Yuga. Even Devatas are worshipping Kali Yuga. I think that comes in the next. Why? Because in this age, one can achieve the highest perfection simply by Sankirtan. So, as he says, in other words, all of the degraded qualities of this age are completely counteracted by the process of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Further down, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not primarily the superintendent of this world, but rather the enjoyer of his own world, which is beyond the most fantastic dreams of the conditioned living entity. In other words, although the king or the president of a country is ultimately the control of the prison department, the king or president derives actual pleasure within his own palace and not in administering justice to the foolish prisoners. Similarly, the Lord appoints the demigods to administer the material creation on his behalf, while he himself personally enjoys the ocean of transcendental bliss in his own transcendental kingdom. So, thus, realization of the Lord within his own kingdom is far superior to the primitive understanding that the Lord is the creator of the prison of the material world. So, therefore, the Bhagwan realization is highest. And this realization of Bhagwan begins with the understanding that there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, and then each of them a particular expansion of Narayana dwells. And then he's quoting Ishvara Paramakrishna. And thus, love of Krishna and entrance into Krishna's planet in the spiritual sky is the most supremely perfect and exalted status of life, available anywhere at any time throughout the totality of existence. And that perfection is available in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the holy names. Therefore, every sane man, woman, or child should deeply understand the unprecedented opportunity offered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and seriously take up this chanting process. Only the most fortunate, irrational person, most unfortunate, and irrational person will neglect this transcendental opportunity. Okay, so we have to understand the great fortune that we have been given in this particular age. And so we read how even the Devatas are waiting in line to take birth in this age of Kali Yuga. And so we have already taken birth. We are so fortunate. So we should take advantage. 37. Nayata paramo labho dehinam bhramyatamiha yato vindeta paramam shantim nashyati samsmriti.
Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied souls forced to wander throughout the material world than the Supreme Lord's Sankirtan moment, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from the cycle of repeated birth and death.
So now in all these verses, there is glorification of the Sankirtan movement and glorification of the human form of life. So the purport says one can immediately take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by chanting his holy names. According to Sridhar Swami, even in previous ages such as Satyuga, it was not possible for the living entities to achieve the perfection that is available in Kali Yuga. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this as follows. In former ages such as Satyuga, human beings were perfectly qualified and easily performed even the most difficult spiritual process, meditating for many thousands of years practically without eating or sleeping. Thus, although in any age one who completely takes shelter of the Lord's holy name gets all perfection, the highly qualified inhabitants of Satyuga do not consider that merely moving the tongue and lips, chanting the Lord's holy name is a complete process, and that the Lord's holy name is the only shelter within the universe. They're more attracted to the difficult and elaborate yoga system of meditation, complete with sophisticated sitting postures, painstaking control of the breath, and deep extended meditations in trance on the personality of God within the heart. Okay, and then he's talking about so in Satyuga, sinful life is practically unheard of, and therefore people are not afflicted with the terrible reaction seen in Kali Yuga, such as world war, famine, plague, drought, insanity, etc. Although in Kali Yuga, people always worship the personality of God as the ultimate goal of life and meticulously follow his laws called dharma, they do not feel themselves to be in a helpless condition, and thus they do not always experience intense love for the Lord. However, in Kali Yuga, living conditions are so unbearable, modern governments are so obnoxious, our bodies are so ridden by physical and mental disease, and even self-preservation is so troublesome that the conditioned souls intensely cry out the holy name of Krishna, begging for relief from the onslaught of this age. So this is the advantage of Kali Yuga. So in Satyuga, they think chanting of the holy name, what is this? It's just too simple. So they don't, so even though the holy name is always effective, but they consider it too simple. So therefore they prefer more complicated ways of realizing the Supreme Lord. That is what is prescribed for them also. But Kali Yuga situation is totally different. So now we can see practically, now Srila Prabhupada brought it down to 16 rounds. And what is the present situation? People are finding even 16 rounds difficult. That is reality. Especially Grahasthas, chanting 16 rounds itself is such a big challenge. To sit in one place, forget about one place, where not they chant. From driving car to local train or wherever possible. Not extra rounds, 16 rounds. That is it. That's what I'm saying. So that is situation of Kali Yuga. So therefore, Mahaprabhu has given such a simple process, Prabhupada made it even more simple. But even that is difficult. That is situation of Kali Yuga. So that is the reason why this simple process has been given. And then they're describing how people are impressed by the enthusiasm with which devotees chant the holy names. So further down it said, thus due to the helpless and pathetic condition, the living entities in Kali Yuga have great impetus to surrender fully to the holy name of Krishna, putting all their hope and faith in the Lord's holy name. Kali Yuga is therefore the best age, because in this age, more than in Satyuga or other ages, the conditioned souls become disgusted with the kingdom of illusion and surrender fully to the Lord's holy name. This status of full surrender is called Paramam Shantim, or supreme peace. So therefore you were asking, Arjunesh Prabhu, you are asking, no? Now here in this institution also so many problems, this, that. So this is Kali Yuga. So then because there are so many problems, then at least we will helplessly cry out to the Lord. If everything goes smoothly, then how there will be intense chanting of the holy name? Now even though there are problems, we are not able to chant. If there are no problems, then what will happen? then one will sleep peacefully.
Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, in all ISKCON centers, there should be minimum 3 hours of Sankirtan. Minimum.
So, of course, previously during Prabhupada's time, they were doing 8 to 10 hours every day they were doing. That is correct. There is no patience. This is explained in the symptoms of Kali Yuga. Nissattva. No sattva, no patience. So that is correct. That is one of the symptoms. That is why people leave ISKCON. No? One of the reasons why they leave ISKCON is this reason only. No patience. People want immediate result. Nahi, kuch nahi dikh raha hai. Kya? So many days we are chanting, nothing is happening. So better go somewhere else. You won't get anything anywhere. So yes, that is correct. So therefore, Rupa Goswami has also said, what is the solution? Utsa, Nishay, Dhairya. So Dhairya, patience. Rupa Goswami. Yes, Anudinam, it has to go on. Okay. So now 3840. Read translation.
One minute. इतना बड़ा purport है. My dear king, the inhabitants of Satyuga and other ages eagerly desire to take birth in this age of Kali.
See, Satyuga, from Satyuga they want to take birth in Kali Yuga, see?
Since in this age there will be many devotees of the Supreme Lord, Narayan.
Like all of you.
These devotees will appear in various places, but will be especially numerous in South India. O Master of men, in the age of Kali, those persons who drink the waters of the holy rivers of Dravid Desh, such as Tamraparni, Kritamala, Payaspini, the extremely pious Kaveri, and the Pratichi Mahanadi, will almost all be pure-hearted devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva.
Right? So see, people of Satyuga want to take birth in this Kali Yuga. So we are so fortunate we have already taken birth. So how much grateful we should be and how much seriously we have to take this up. So in the purport it's mentioned, thus just as ordinary human beings can understand the past, present and future seasons of the earth, the liberated followers of Vedic culture can easily understand the past, present and future conditions of the seasonal ages of the earth and other planets. Okay, so you were asking this question, no? How they can understand? Raj Krishna Prabhu, you were asking, no? So this is the answer. They can understand past, present, future. The inhabitants of Satyuga are certainly aware of the conditions of Kali Yuga. They know that in Kali Yuga, the difficult material situation forces the living entity to take complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that inhabitants of Kali Yuga therefore develop a high degree of love of Godhead. Therefore, although the inhabitants of Satyuga are far more sinless, truthful, and self-controlled than people of other ages, they desire to take birth in Kali Yuga in order to taste pure love of Krishna. Especially this Kali Yuga, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. Because only by grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one can especially get Vraja Prem. Otherwise, in other ages, it is not possible. Without associating with devotees of the Lord, no one can become an advanced devotee of the Lord. Therefore, since in Kali Yuga other Vedic processes collapse due to unfavorable conditions, and since the only authorized Vedic process is the devotional chanting of the Lord's holy name, which is available to everyone, there will undoubtedly be innumerable Vaishnavas or devotees of the Lord in this age. Birth in this age is very favorable for one who is eager to associate with devotees. That's an important point. Yes. So, but then after getting the book, what should happen? They should be eager to associate. Otherwise, they'll keep the book in the shelf and no use. As it is, they'll keep. As it is. In fact, the Krishna consciousness movement is established authorized Vaishnava temples throughout the world. So in innumerable areas, one may avail himself of association with pure Vaishnavas. Association with the devotees of the Lord is far more valuable than any amount of association with persons who are merely self-controlled, sinless, or expert in Vedic scholarship. Okay. So there's a lot of emphasis laid on associating with devotees. And then he's quoting Muktanam Abhi Siddhanam. Further down. According to Sri Jiva Goswami, the words Kvachit Kvachit in this verse indicate that in Kali Yuga, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya will appear in Gaudadesh in the district of Nadia. And from this pivotal point, he will gradually expand the flood of love of Godhead to cover the entire earth. And then he says, the process of chanting the holy name of Krishna, Krishna Kirtan, is not limited to Kali Yuga. Okay, it's there in all ages, but in Kali Yuga, that is a Yuga Dharma. So further down he says, he's quoting from the Vishnu Dharma, Kalau Krita Yugam Tasya. For one who has Lord Govinda in his heart, Satyug becomes manifest in the midst of Kali. And conversely, even Satyuga becomes Kali Yuga for one who does not have the infallible Lord in his heart. So everything is based on what? The consciousness. So if one is Krishna conscious, then even Kali Yuga can become Satyuga. The holy name of Krishna is potent everywhere, at all times, and all circumstances. Therefore, one should always chant the holy name of Lord, either in Kali Yuga, Satyuga, in heaven, in hell, or in Vaikuntha. Krishna's holy name is eternally non-different from him, and Krishna is eternally the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, it is not that the holy name is powerful in this age only, because other processes are not effective. Okay, so holy name is effective every time, but still, as we discussed, the main reason is in Kali Yuga, that is the only process which is possible. In other ages, they have difficult process because that is what they want. And and then further down he says, quite a long commentary. And then further down he says, therefore Srila Jiva Goswami has concluded that it's possible to perform Kirtan equally in all ages. In Kali Yuga, however, the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his causeless mercy personally induces the living entities to take the holy name. So the Supreme Lord personally induces by coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Enechi Aushadhi Maya Nashibara Lagi, Harinama Mahamantra Lau Tumi Magi. and then Hare Nam, Hare Nam. And then the last paragraph. The word prayah or in general indicates that those are offensive to the Lord's devotees, although claiming themselves to be devotees, are not included within the list of amalashaya or pure-hearted souls. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that one should not be bewildered by seeing the apparently poverty-stricken condition of the inhabitants of South India. Even nowadays, the inhabitants of the places mentioned in this verse generally spend their days with meager eating and clothing and live as great renounced devotees of the Supreme Lord. Although the residents of South India are generally Sri Vaishnavas or devotees in the Lakshmi Sampradaya, they are recognized as devotees of the Lord by followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, their austere living conditions should be taken as good qualification, not a disqualification. अरे वही तो लिखा है ना. They don't have much food to eat. Of course, now things are all different. So this is referring to those previous time. Previous time there was so much of Vedic culture. You see in South India, all the big, huge temples in Tamil Nadu and all those. Correct. Correct. Now things are totally different.
Prabhuji, here one question means in this verse it clearly says that the people will be forced or inspired by the Lord Hari to take the shelter of holy name. And then one more thing is mentioned in that this Vaishnava Tantra, that in the midst of the Kali Yuga, Satyuga will appear. Those who carry the Lord in the heart. So here, one time I asked even Bhakti-Rasamrita Swami Maharaj also this question. Maharaj, lot of sins are increasing in Kali Yuga and devotees are also chanting. Then how the sins are increasing so much? Means if we see who is victorious in today's time, devotees or the outside Kali. So we see the Kali is increasing like anything. So like it should be seen like if there are 1,000 army of Kali and devotees are 50, and if they killed some 500 armies of Kali, so then we should say Jai, 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 we killed 500. So how to see this sin is decreasing, and then people are accustomed to now take more and more, and they're also becoming now, as you are mentioning, ki grahasthas are not chanting 16, as you are mentioning. And here we are seeing that and so many other problems. And then Kali is getting victorious. So then how to see this thing, I'm asking.
See, what we can practically see is that, especially in India, at least as of now, outside India, we don't know the future. But especially at least in India, we see in all our ISKCON temples, number of people visiting is definitely increasing. Correct? You go to any ISKCON center, huge crowds, practically every day, and then what to speak of festivals. You go to Mayapur, practically every day there are hundreds and thousands of people. This is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so many people get a chance to begin devotional service. This is the mercy. But when it comes to purifying oneself and progressing, that is left up to the individual.
There only they are falling down.
Huh?
There only the main issue is coming. See, taking to bhakti is a mercy, but perfection in bhakti is very difficult. That's why the people are losing faith. So that's why I'm asking here, if, see, like somebody has been given a vehicle which can run very fast, but later he finds the vehicle is very old, means it's not running fast. So then they will say, "Arey, pehle to bahut glorify kiya isko." Then why it's not running? So that's why I'm asking, are we too much happy with everyone taking the holy name, but how many are getting perfection? That's why I'm asking here.
So therefore, the important point is, see, anybody who just enters this temple, is their devotional service beginning or no?
Yes.
Yes. This is the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So because Because by Mahaprabhu's mercy in Parampara, all these temples are there. And because these temples are there, every day, here also you can see every day so many people are coming. That means so many people are being given a chance to take up to devotional service. That means if not today, tomorrow. In the sense, if not this lifetime, some future lifetime, they will achieve perfection. This is the mercy of Mahaprabhu. You just imagine if Srila Prabhupada would not have preached, would not have constructed these various temples, who would be even getting the chance to hear the holy name? Who? Where would we be? Think about that. If Srila Prabhupada didn't start all these temples, where would we be? This is mercy of Mahaprabhu. That so many hundreds and thousands of people are getting chance to begin their devotional service. That yes, that is true. That is true. Now, so many people just come for a visit, and then what to speak of devotees going out on Harinam, and people on the road never plan to hear the holy name. But still they are forced to hear. Their Ajnat Sukriti begins. Their devotional service begins. This is all mercy of Mahaprabhu. Some point of time, their devotional service will mature. When? That we don't know, but it will happen sometime. So therefore, this is all the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that we definitely must appreciate. And at the same time, we have to understand, as far as individual spiritual progress is concerned, that is left up to the individual. So that every individual has to make effort for that spiritual progress. And of course, and that effort is in accordance to the acharyas, and that attracts the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then that's how one makes progress. But then for that individual progress to take place, then definitely one has to put the efforts. So that is how the process works. But just the fact that people are getting a chance to begin devotional service goes to show the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just like you went and started one program there. So then how many people are getting chance to hear the holy name there? No, coming and going is another thing. But how many people are getting chance to hear the holy name? Then out of that, some people will stay also, na? But think about the benefit. Think about the benefit that people are getting. Yes. So many people, literally thousands and thousands of people are getting chance to hear the holy name. And you go to these big temples, Mayapur, Vrindavan, Delhi, you see every day hundreds and hundreds of people. They're all devotional services beginning. Think about it. Something which would have never happened in the past, that is becoming possible. This is Mahaprabhu's mercy. And then obviously, Manushanam Sahasreshu will always be there. But out of them, as far as becoming serious is concerned, that will always be small number. But still, we should understand the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
They will get liberated, correct. Because it says that in the 6th canto only, even somebody, Vivashena.
Yeah. So definitely the benefit will be there. Exactly how much benefit, that's another thing. But the benefit will definitely be there. That is...
Prabhuji, me and my mother and my sister, we are testimonies of this. Because I remember we had gone shopping to MG Road, and our Harinam devotees were doing Harinam Kirtan on the road, and we also followed them for 5-6 minutes behind them chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's how after a few months we landed in ISKCON, Prabhuji. This is a testimony.
Correct. And of course, there are many such examples actually. Many such examples. So that's true. That's true. Okay. So now if one takes to devotional service, then what is the benefit? What is the result? That is being explained in the next few verses. So two, three very important verses now. This we have heard quite often. Devarshibhutaptaninam pitrinam na kinkaronayam rinicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritta kartam.
O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away, since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. One who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such a person separately.
Okay, so they're describing how we are obligated to all these different individuals that I'm sure all of us know. And then by serving the Supreme Lord, then everyone else is satisfied. So the well-known examples, Yathataro, Mula, Nishesh, and all that. So everyone becomes satisfied. So then he is giving another nice example here, further down. The example can be given that a man who's working as the personal secretary to a great king has no further obligation to petty minor kings. Undoubtedly, an ordinary person has many obligations in this material world. But according to Bhagavad Gita, Mayeva Vihitan Hitan. It's actually the Supreme Lord who's giving all benedictions. For example, one receives one's body by the mercy of one's parents. However, sometimes we find that a particular man or woman may become impotent at a given moment. Sometimes a deformed child is born. Sometimes child is born dead. Often sexual acts fail to produce pregnancy. So although all parents desire beautiful, highly qualified child, this is often not the case. Thus, it can be understood that ultimately it is with the mercy of the Supreme Lord that a man and woman are able to produce a child with a sexual act. It's by the Lord's mercy that this is going to happen. Okay, so therefore, ultimately, one has to simply depend on the Supreme Lord because all devatas, everyone are dependent on the Supreme Lord. Now, the next paragraph. The demigods are also not independent. The words pariritta kartum, giving up other duties, indicate that one should give up any concept that the demigods are separate from Krishna. It is clearly stated in Vedic literature that demigods are different limbs of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, one should have the clear understanding that ultimately devatas are also parts and parts of the Supreme Lord. They're also dependent. So therefore, there's no need to worship them separately. Okay, so they should not be seen as separate from the Supreme Lord. Okay. Okay, fine. So I think so that verse is quite clear. Any clarification on this verse?
Bhagavad Gita, it's mentioned Avidhi Purukam means if somebody sees demigod separate from the Lord, they are independent and they're competitor of God. Then that is Avidhi Purukam.
Correct.
But when they see they are Deva Narayana Angaja.
Yes.
So and then they worship the demigod. If they worship the demigod, like Bharat Maharaj used to do Karmakanda also.
Right. But if they worship with proper understanding, there's no problem.
So then Prabhupada also says that they do not go to demigod lok, they ultimately go to the Vasudeva.
Yes, because they worship with the proper understanding. So that means it does not mean that Bharat Maharaj was only worshipping devatas. Of course, he was doing that just to set an example. But then ultimately he was worshipping the Supreme Lord, no?
Yes. So my question is, Prabhuji, then in this understanding, no devotee can worship demigod. I'm asking.
There's no need. So Prabhupada said that very clearly. For devotees, there's no need to worship any devata. There's no need. What's the need? One is worshipping Supreme Lord. What is the need to worship devatas?
Again, it is not a problem, no? Is it a problem?
See, somebody is just like somebody worships Lord Shiva with the proper understanding that he is Vaishnav. There's no problem. But there is no need also.
So he may ask.
Here means we are, suppose you are, I come to you, I offer pranam to you because you are a great devotee. If you are walking in front of Lord Shiva temple, we are going chanting, great affection as a great devotee of Krishna.
Yes, that's correct.
No material desire.
Yes, so we offer respects to, this is what Prabhupada writes, and this is also one of the angas of bhakti which Rupa Goswami mentions. And then, so we offer respect to the devatas, but there's no need to worship them.
So somebody says that Shiva is also a worshipper of Lord and he's Vaishnava Shambhu. He gives prasad.
Correct.
As a so somebody doesn't take, somebody takes. So how it is like Vaishnava?
Prasad of the demigods.
Like somebody.
This is very clear. This Prabhupada writes very clearly. In 4th canto purports, Prabhupada has written, he has given an instruction for all devotees. Devotees should never accept prasad from demigod temples. Prabhupada has given a clear-cut instruction. Why? Why? Yes, that is the first point. The worshipper is not in a pure, selfless mood. That is one point. Then? Yes. So if a karmi person just goes and offers something to the devatas, will they accept? Will they accept? No, they will not accept because they are devatas, they are devotees. What they want? What they want? Krishna prasadam. They want Vishnu prasad, Krishna prasad. So if somebody just brings something and gives to them, they don't offer. They don't accept. No, that is okay. As far as the worshipper is concerned, so the worshipper can do his worship because he has that faith, he can worship. But that devata is not going to accept those eatables. He is not going to accept that. It is simply business deal. Okay, he has come, he performs some puja, this, that. Okay, what do you want? Take it, go. But that what the worshipper gives with all his materialistic motivations, the devata does not accept. So in regards to Durga, Prabhupada writes very clearly. So in Calcutta, there are some shops who sell meat saying that it is Kali Prasad. Kali Prasad. So why she is Vaishnavi? Why she is going to accept meat and fish? So therefore what she does? She gives to ghosts and all those other people who are associates. So what the person gets is Bhoot Prasad, not Kali Prasad. So they don't accept. So therefore, the right procedure is in Jagannath temple. The first offer to Lord Jagannath, then it is offered to this Bimla Devi. That is the correct procedure. So therefore, the important point is, it is not that, so it is just a business deal. They may accept and they may fulfill the desires and all that, but it is not that they're going to accept it. It is not going to become prasad of that particular devata. They will accept the offering in the sense that, okay, you have done this puja, I will give you your benediction. That's all. But that eatable does not become the prasad of that devata.
Devata only accept the prasad of Lord Vishnu.
Yes,
they never accept anything which is not offered to Vishnu.
Yeah, that is the principle.
In every South Indian temple, I visited one temple in Jaipur, so Hanumanji temple. So he was Prabhuji चरणामृत लीजिए. बोला चरणामृत उसमें तुलसी कैसे डाल तूने? बोले प्रभु जी देखिए ऊपर शालिग्राम है. मैंने पहले शालिग्राम जी को भोग लगाया, उनको नहाया और बाद में हनुमान जी को ऑफर किया. इसलिए आप ले सकते. बोला फिर दे तू. Because every demigod temple shaligram has to be there. In Pune also there is a Ganesh temple. Inside there is a shaligram. That Brahmana was offering to shaligram without no garlic and then offering to Ganesh.
If the proper procedure is followed, then it is fine. That is your question? If somebody gives, then we should give it to somebody else. Give it to somebody else.
So it applicable to all Jyotirlinga, Somnath, all others.
If this procedure is not being followed, then we cannot accept. If this procedure is followed, then we can accept. That is very clear. Okay, 42. Swapadamulam bhajata priyasya tyaktanya bhavasya hari pareshah vikarmaya chotpatitam kathanchid dhunoti sarvam hridi sannivishtaha.
One who has thus given up all other engagements and has taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to Lord. Indeed, if such a surrendered soul accidentally commits some sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, immediately takes away the reaction to such sin.
So this verse is very similar to? Yes, apichet suduracharo bhajate mam ananya bhak. So now, so what if a devotee thinks, so one who has given up all other engagements and swapadamulam bhajata priyasya. So then if such a devotee who has taken shelter of the Supreme Lord, commits any abominable activity, he is excused, correct? He can do any wrong activity, correct? He'll be excused.
The offense.
Huh?
Namna bola jaise Prabhu. The offense.
So the important word is what? Kathanchit. That is the important words. Kathanchit. Vikarma yachotpatitam kathanchit. Somehow or accidentally. It is not pre-planned or deliberate. It is accidental. So in Apichet Sudoracharo verse purport, Prabhupada uses the word accidental 7 times in that purport. Just to make sure that the message goes very clearly that it only refers to someone who has committed sinful activity accidentally by the force of Maya. Okay, so it only refers to that, not somebody who is purposefully doing in a pre-planned way. Then this verse does not apply. If one has accidentally somehow done it, then the Supreme Lord, because the devotee is very dear, priyasya, therefore, dhunoti sarvam ridhi sannivishta, the Lord is situated in the heart. He knows the intention of the devotee. One cannot cheat the Lord. He knows the intention of the devotee. And so therefore, for such a sincere devotee, the Lord will purify. And same thing in Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Next verse. Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashva shantim nigachyati kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranushyati. So there, the Acharya is explaining. So one important consideration is accidental. What is the other important consideration? Yes, ananya bhag. Ananya bhag. Bhajate mam ananya bhag. Ananya bhag refers to 3 conditions. What? There are 3 conditions under ananya bhag.
Continue practice constantly.
So 3 things are worship Krishna and no one else, practice only bhakti yoga without contamination of karma jnana yoga, and third is only desire to please Krishna and no other desire. These 3 conditions should be applied within that bhajate mam ananya bhak. Then Krishna says, oh, this devotee is very serious. Okay, he's committed some wrong activity, but he's very serious. He doesn't go to devatas, astrologers, nowhere else. That is the meaning of Ananya Bhak. No one else. Only Krishna. Very clear. That is the meaning of Ananya Bhak. Otherwise, what? Sometimes devotees also, they perform some sinful activity. They think we have to go to some devata to do prayashchita. There are devotees doing that. But then it doesn't fall under Ananya Bhag then. That Ananya Bhag condition has to be applied. And there is a third important condition. What is that? One is accidental, second is Ananya Bhag, and third is no, that is from the Lord's perspective. But what that devotee who has committed wrong, what he has to do? Yes, that is the important point. Repentance. As Vishwanath Thakur clearly describes in his commentaries. So it says the devotee thinks, for this wrong activity I have done, I'm even ready to go to hell. So he doesn't justify the wrong activity, rather he is ready to suffer for the wrong activity. So he sincerely repents for that wrong activity. So these are 3 conditions applied. So when these 3 conditions apply, then Krishna is pleased, and Krishna says, you have to consider him sadhu. But all these conditions have to be applied. So here also this commentary is very beautiful. So you can read it, but basically they also cover all these points. And so therefore, because this devotee, he comes under the jurisdiction of Krishna, even Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, has no power to punish a surrendered devotee who has accidentally committed sinful activities. And the example is Ajamin. And the last paragraph is nice. This causeless mercy of the Lord upon his devotee is his param aishwaryam, or supreme opulence. Gradually, the faithful devotee becomes free even from accidental fall down, because simply by remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, what to speak of by actively rendering service to Him, his heart is purified. Although the surrendered devotees of the personality of God may sometimes appear to be affected by mundane attitudes, they are inevitably protected by the merciful Lord and are never actually defeated in life. So these verses should give us great faith in a practice of devotional service. So therefore, if one sticks to the practice, then yes, one will definitely be purified. So one should stick to the practice, ananya bhag, without deviating here, there, taking shelter of this one, that one, this process, that process. One sticks to the process, then Krishna will eventually purify. So, but he chanted the holy name, na? No, but then see, first of all, he was saved from the Yamadutas because he chanted the holy name, correct? Because he chanted, yes, without offense. That's a big condition there. So, that's exactly I was going to say. So he was saved from the Yamadutas by hearing that conversation, and then he understood the glories of the holy name, understood the glories of devotional service. But then after that, what he did? He practiced He practiced Ananya Bhak, devotional service. He practiced for some 12 years in Haridwar. So then he got perfection. So that is there. He got liberation from the Yamadutas because of the Namabhas. But perfection was achieved after he practiced pure devotional service. So that is the end of this answers to the questions. And then the last few verses are finally ending this conversation between Vasudeva and Narad Muni. Okay. So should we just read that? I think so. We'll just read the translations of the remaining verses. Okay. Purposeful can read. We'll just read the translations just to complete. Okay. So somebody read.
Narad Muni said, having thus heard the signs of devotional service, Nimi, the king of Mithila, felt extremely satisfied, and along with the sacrificial priests, offered respectful worship to the sagacious sons of Jayanti. The perfect sages then disappeared before the eyes of everyone present. King Nimi faithfully practiced the principles of spiritual life he had learned from them, and thus he achieved the supreme goal of life.
Oh, greatly fortunate Vasudev, simply apply with faith the principles of devotional service which you have heard, and thus being free from material association, you will attain the supreme.
Okay, so Narad Muni is now telling him to apply these principles. Okay, he's heard, that's good. But now what is required is application.
Indeed, the whole world has become filled with the glories of you and your good wife, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, has taken the position of your son.
Okay, just continue to a few verses.
My dear Vasudev, you and your good wife Devki have manifested great transcendental love for Krishna. Accepting him as your son, indeed, you are always seeing the Lord, embracing him, speaking with him, resting with him, sitting together with him, and taking your meals with him. By such affectionate and intimate association with the Lord, undoubtedly, both of you have completely purified your heart. In other words, you are already perfect. Inimical kings like Shishupal, Pandaka, and Salva were always thinking about Lord Krishna. Even while they were lying down, sitting, or engaging in other activities, they enviously meditated upon the bodily movements of the Lord. His sporting pastimes, his loving glances upon his devotees, and other attractive features displayed by the Lord. Being thus always absorbed in Krishna, they achieve spiritual liberation, the Lord's own abode. What then can be said of the benediction offered to those who constantly fix their minds on Lord Krishna in a favorable, loving mood?
Okay, so this Narad Muni tells at the beginning of the 7th canto. Kama, Dvesha. Okay, next.
Do not think of Krishna as an ordinary child, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, inexhaustible and the soul of all beings, the Lord has concealed his inconceivable opulences and is thus outwardly appearing to be an ordinary human being.
So now I'm telling Vasudev, don't think of your child as ordinary human being.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead descended to kill the demonic kings who were the burden of the earth and to protect the saintly devotees. However, both the demons and devotees awarded liberation with the Lord's mercy. Thus, his transcendental fame has spread throughout the universe. Sri Shukdev Goswami continued, having heard this narration, the greatly fortunate Vasudev was completely struck with wonder. Thus, he and his most blessed wife Devaki gave up all illusion and anxiety that had entered their hearts. Anyone who meditates on this pious historical narration with fixed attention will purify himself all contamination in this very life and thus achieve the highest spiritual perfection.
Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. What? Gave up all illusion and anxiety that had entered their hearts. Having heard this narration, greatly fortunate Vasudev was completely struck with wonder. Thus, he and his most blessed wife Devaki gave up all illusion and anxiety that had entered their hearts. So basically, the illusion and anxiety was the various questions which Vasudev asked, how to make progress in devotional service, and all those questions which he asked at the beginning of the conversation. That was their anxiety. So, because they were thinking Krishna as their ordinary child, so therefore they could not understand the glory of devotional service to Krishna. So that is why Narad Muni is telling, don't think of your child as an ordinary child. He is the Supreme Lord. And so that is how by Narad Muni's instructions, then their illusion and anxiety was given up. Okay. So in the previous verse, he's saying that how even the demons are getting liberation by, so all that ignorance has been removed. No, this conversation happens in Treta Yuga. This Maharaj Nimi and Navyogendras, this conversation happens in Treta Yuga. Okay, Narad Muni and Vasudev, at what point of time in chronology does this take place? Okay, so it is before the Yadus go to Prabhas. Acha, it's mentioned. Okay, we have to see the chronology.
Online? What Vasudeva and Devaki will do? They will do devotional service to Krishna.
They are eternally devotees. They are eternally devotees of. Thus, in the purpose of the humble servants of His divine grace, as Bhagavan Swami Prabhupada, to the 11th canto, 5th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Narada concludes his teachings to us.
Is it online?
Tomorrow.
No, Prabhuji, this is regarding our SB presentations and thesis, Prabhuji.
Okay, this Arjun Ishwar Prabhu will answer.
Yeah. So actually now we are trying to end and 12th canto will come, then वो पूरा pile up हो जाएगा, Prabhuji.
Actually, this time Kanayak Expo has spoken to me that next speaker, when Prabhuji is coming, Venugopal Prabhu, that time he will take orientation program for this thesis writing especially. So one class, he said 2.5 hour class you will take for thesis writing.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank
Just
you.
before we go to Yatra, in October month is going to happen. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just next week only. Just after Monday. So Hare Krishna, next classes for Bhaktivedanta will start on Monday.
Acha, continuous, huh?
Because Prabhuji has a busy schedule. After that, he is teaching somewhere else, and then only we have first week or second week only.
Okay.
Because after the Yatra is there.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.